Greetings, welcome back. Haven't made a video in a while, but I just felt like I'd come on here tonight and talk about Superman the movie. It was released in 1978, directed by Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeve as Superman, of course, and Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, and Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, Marlon Brando as Jor-El. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's a classic superhero movie, and I like the way it starts off at the beginning with Krypton, the whole ice crystal thing. It still looks pretty cool today. It's realistic looking, and then of course you know the story from there. Like all Superman origin stories, Jor-El tries to convince the council that Krypton is going to explode, and of course they always think he's crazy, and this story is no exception. And of course sends Kal-El off to Earth, where of course he's found by the Kents, and of course called Clark. And yeah, movie we see a little bit of him from when he was a teenager and high school, where he was using his powers to kind of show off, and Pa Kent didn't seem to like that and told him he was there for a bigger reason than to score touchdowns. And then they decide to have a race, and Pa Kent, of course, dies of the heart attack, and then of course it makes Clark depressed because he knows that he has all the powers and can do all those things, but couldn't save his father because he died of a natural cause. And then of course he wakes up that night and finds that crystal out in the barn that of course tells him to go north. And then of course we know he builds the Fortress of Solitude out there and meets Jor-El finally, and learns what his whole mission is, to be Superman. And that's about the first half of the movie, and then after that it's pretty basic from there. He gets his job at the Daily Planet and meets Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder, and Jimmy Olsen, Mark McClure, and Jackie Cooper, who plays Perry White. And then, of course, we see Otis, played by Ned Beatty, who is being watched by the police, and they think he's going to lead them to Lex Luthor, who is living all the way underground in this big, giant library office. And then, of course, it's pretty basic story. The rest from there on. Superman goes and has his interview with Lois and tells her about stuff people had questions about, and he mentions not being able to see through lead, which of course fights him later on. And Lex Luthor, of course, wants to take him out because he thinks he's going to cause him trouble, and he somehow gets the idea that minerals from the remains of Krypton would somehow weaken him, which of course turns out to be the kryptonite. So he gets hold of that and sends that signal out to Clark while he's in the office that day, and then he changes into Superman, goes after him, and then listens to Lex's plan, which is to use nuclear missiles to destroy the San Andreas Fault of California and build a new real estate there. Completely ridiculous. And then, of course, he tells Superman he has the detonator there, and Superman assumes it's in the lead case, and he just chose a lead case to hide it, but Superman opens the lead case, and it turns out to be the kryptonite, where then Lex just throws the chain of kryptonite on Superman and throws him into the pool, and says that he has one heading to the San Andreas Fault and the other missile heading to Hackensack. And his hinge girl, Miss Teschmacher, she's appalled at this because she says her mother lives in Hackensack, but Lex, of course, doesn't care, and she winds up staying behind and helping Superman under the condition that he'll stop the missile going towards her mother first, which he agrees to, and he throws it out into space, but the other missile detonates the fault line, and it causes the fault line to go off, and then Lois, of course, we know ends up dying as a result of all this, and then Superman has his famous scream, and then we get the ending that's kind of a cop out, I think. I've never been crazy about this whole ending of him spinning the Earth back in time, which we all know by physics wouldn't work anyway. Plus, if he was able to just spin the world back in time, he should have been fast enough to stop both missiles. So that's why I say it's kind of a cop out ending. But overall, it's still a fun movie, even all these years later. And yeah, I've of course got issues with it, like ending, don't like it at all. And then, of course, we know there was the drama behind the scenes where Richard Donner, of course, would not get to finish Superman 2 because of this, because they were shot back to back. But that is what it is. And overall, Superman the movie, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Give it a point off for the ending, and then then some of the special effects do kind of look dated today, so and yeah, the acting is all great in it. No complaints there. I think everyone was pretty well cast. And then of course this movie was made on a $55 million budget and would go on to gross 300 million, which, and I looked this up, adjusting for the numbers of inflation, that would be the equivalent of $1 billion picture back in 1978. So, so it was obvious it was gonna get that sequel. And yeah, that's about all I got. Mm, I might review Superman 2 eventually, but I'm not gonna make a schedule or anything. Just thought I'd come on here tonight and get this one on. And if you enjoyed it, give it a like or leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the movie. And till then, see you next time.